I'm bringing up my desktop so it'll be easier to see any comments if there are any comments. It's Thursday night. It's Thursday night for me. Might be afternoon. Might be late afternoon for you guys, depending on where you are. It's 5:15, just about 5:15, which for me is evening, as I'm generally in bed by 7-ish. As I mentioned before, um, I go to bed early because I'm up really early. I try to even things out. I try to make sleep a priority. Not always easy in the everyday world. You know, we had a great talk this afternoon on fitness and nutrition, general health, um, through means of diet, Ayurvedic, the yogic diet, um, reducing inflammation, um, all kinds of stuff. So one thing I noticed is we didn't talk about sleep. We talked about getting to sleep, reducing our food intake, at the very least having 2 hours between the last meal and when we go to bed. Let's see, how to my cat here. Um, other than that, we didn't really get too involved in it. I love talking about sleep. Mir Ahmed is here. Mir, my friend, how are you? Mir did another great live today. Always awesome to see. Mir says, how are you, sir? I'm doing pretty well. Just hanging out in my office. Mir says he's good as well. Awesome. Happy to hear that. So how's your channel doing, Mir? Are you happy with how everything's going? I'm trying to get on every live stream of yours that I see, and I try to share it out. Mir says, thanks for your kindness, sir. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for yours. Not just for me, to everyone. You just keep extending your kindness to so many people here. It's amazing to see. I see you in every live stream. I see you in everyone's live stream. I don't know where you get that energy from, that you just keep giving and giving. So, yeah, I suffered for 2 years from really bad insomnia, mainly due to anxiety and panic attacks, that I would lay down and it would be like a jolt of electricity going through my body, but not like a shock, but like a low vibration that would not allow me to lie still. I'd have to hop out of bed. My heart pounding, panicking. I'd have to walk it off, and it would just continue all night long, where eventually I would give up, and I would just walk my steps as quietly as possible so I wouldn't wake my father. I was his caregiver. Until I got absolutely exhausted, and then maybe pass out for 45 minutes or so. Every so often, I'd have a somewhat peaceful night's sleep, but they were rare. Let's see, met Kyra. Hi from Russia. Hey, we've got a few people in Russia the past couple nights. I appreciate that. Everyone's always welcome. So hello from the US. Eloa. Did I pronounce that right? Eloa? That's a pretty name. Says hello. Hello, my friend. I love the Eloa. So I had to make sleep and getting to sleep and staying to sleep priority. As well as the panic attacks and the anxiety, I was suffering from imposter syndrome. Because here I was teaching relaxation, teaching stress reduction, teaching meditation and breath work. And I was suffering out of the blue of the very things that I was helping people avoid or work their way through. Which led me to a great realization. No one is immune to anything. You can practice whatever you want, all you want, but life's going to hit you with something. You're not going to avoid it. No one is going to avoid um, all suffering all the time. Life is going to hit us with something. Our friend William Hart is here. William says hello, walking the dog. What kind of dog do you have, William? Mia says hello to William, and how are you? So one of the important things, early sunlight. I mention this often. Generally speaking, within the first 5-10 minutes of being awake, you should get natural sunlight to the eyes. That doesn't work for me because I'm up at 2:30 in the morning and there isn't any natural sunlight. Um, However, as early as possible, I do get sunlight, and I am out early, so I'm getting that ambient light hitting my eyes, which does make a difference. The importance of that is it triggers a hormonal response, triggers the natural circadian rhythm. Your body produces adrenaline, norepinephrine, one other hormone that I can't think of right now, which all cortisol. None of these things seem like things we want to produce. Of course, we need them in order to give us a little bit of wakefulness and a little bit of an edge through the course of our day. These are the hormones that our body produces to chase down the woolly mammoth and keep away from the saber-toothed tiger. But it needs to be in just the right amount. So, William says it's Dad's and it's a Russell Terrier mix. Nice. Russell Terriers are pretty dogs. Of course, all dogs are pretty in their own way. Now, how does this help you sleep? How does producing stress hormones help you sleep? Is the production of stress hormones begin to die off through the course of the day. And in their raw material, the body produces melatonin and serotonin, which help us relax and sleep later in the night. So lack of those stressor hormones in the morning with enough time for them to die down interferes with our natural production of the sleep and rest and relaxed hormones. That's part of the circadian rhythm. The other thing is don't sleep in. Man, that sounds awful, doesn't it? But sleeping in interferes with your circadian rhythm, makes it harder to get to sleep the next night. It doesn't really make a difference sleeping in. You generally don't feel any better. If anything, it increases a bit of stress because now you got to catch up with the day. Set a schedule. Stick with a schedule every day. It sucks until it doesn't. And then it becomes natural and it becomes easy. More than that, it becomes joyful. 2:30 arrives every morning in a natural, easy, spontaneous fashion, and I find myself waking up every morning thankful to be alive, literally saying thank you, which is another important thing, not just for sleep, but for general health. Gratitude. Bird Lover says, great, thumbs up. Appreciate you as well. This is what Mir does. He works for you. He's a good guy. Years ago, I read something on the German mystic Meister Eckhart, 12th century, 13th century, I think it was 12th century, who had said, if the only prayer you ever say is thank you, that would be enough. And I took that to heart and I made it a practice. And it was sort of rote. Every morning I would say thank you. Not always feeling thankful. However, it began to take hold. I began just naturally, easily feeling thankful that I'm waking up in a world that is already existing. I don't have to do anything for any of this stuff, for the sun to come up, for the wind to blow, for the trees to tree, for the earth to be. I don't have to do any of it. Not only that, I don't have to remind my heart to beat, my lungs to breathe, my blood to flow, my hair to grow. I do need to remind myself that. I've been remiss for that reminder for about 25 years. Maybe I'll get in the practice of that. However, every morning I wake up and I say thank you, thank you, thank you 3 times, and it's very sincere. Another aspect of gratitude, I talked about this earlier today, prachad, which I'm probably mispronouncing, which is blessing our food as we prepare it. Blessing the food that we prepare for others. Let's see. MF Dredson said, ways to cope with anger in the moment. There's several ways. The breath. The breath is the easiest way. How are you breathing? When you're angry, you have an angry breath. You're breathing in a particular pattern. Change your breath and you change everything. But first, notice, how am I breathing? And then you make the change. When your pattern might be high in the chest, breathing through your mouth, your jaw clenched, your hands might be clenched, your shoulders might be held tightly. So notice the breath and then nasal breathe. Breathe through the nose, relaxing the belly, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the jaw. Everything starts to change. As you breathe in, just notice the breath. Breathing in, breathing out, all through the nose. No effort. You're not forcing the breath, you're just noticing the breath. You're making that change, the physiological change, and it will change the emotion as well. In return, you change the emotion and the physiological effect will change in an instant. Anger is just a thought, a very, very potent thought, a very powerful thought. Such a big thought that it's literally affecting our central nervous system. Blood pressure goes up, everything is tense, biochemistry changes, the heart beats differently, we breathe differently. Change your thought. Change your thought to anything other. I was just talking about gratitude. What are you grateful for? Here's an instant changer. Can you be grateful for being angry? That you get to feel an emotion, that you get to feel a powerful emotion, that you're that capacity. The language that we use, we say, I am angry. You aren't. Everything proceeds from I am. I am is innocent. I am doesn't feel anything. I am not angry. I am is experiencing anger. That gives you a little bit of spaciousness. Angry. In Buddhism, they talk about our blue sky nature, that the sky never holds a grudge against any passing cloud, against any storm cloud, against lightning, against thunder, against a passing plane. Doesn't have a preference for specific birds. What tree branch reaches in, the sky stays the same no matter what happens. So when a storm comes, the sky just allows the storm to come and watches it pass. Don't punish yourself for anger. Just be aware. I am experiencing anger. Just that change of word. I am experiencing anger. Because now you got some space between you and the anger. You're not caught up in it. And you become responsive instead of reactive. I absolutely love the word responsibility. Not in the way we traditionally use it, but my ability to respond. Now I have an ability to respond versus being reactive when I don't have a choice. I'm just, bam, I'm reacting. I'm reacting out of anger. I'm reacting out of jealousy. I'm reacting out of guilt, reacting out of whatever. But when we're responsive, now we have a choice in the matter. And above all, forgive yourself instantly. Technically, you're not even forgiving yourself or the other person. Forgiveness isn't about anyone, including you. It's about realizing that anger is a thought, not an actual thing. If when you're angry, if a neuroscientist, a neurophysician cut open your brain to study it, they would not find a thing called anger. It doesn't actually exist. It's an illusion created by a thought. What if you didn't have that thought? What would you be? That's forgiveness. Forgiving the thought, forgiving the illusion of anger, and then just going about your day, shrugging it off, laughing. Boy, that was a passing cloud. That was a storm cloud. That was some thunder. That was some lightning. But hey, on my original blue sky nature, I'm unaffected by all that. That was a lot. Sorry. I hope some of it and everything that I went on about, I hope some of it might prove helpful. These are the things that have helped me work my way through anger to the point where I get angry, I still get caught up in anger, but I'm mostly able to pretty quickly laugh it off. Mir says, I agree, sir, and thanks, sir. You're welcome, my friend. Ahmed says, my best wishes and prayers for your good health and happiness, sir. MF Dredson says, very applicable and very helpful perspective. Good, I'm glad. Hey, you know what? Everyday breath work is huge in modifying our reactions, turning them into more of a responsiveness. That you do a particular breath in the morning to help wake you up. You do some breath work in the afternoon. You do some evening breath work before you go to bed. And therapeutically as needed. Which means when you're angry, you can do some specific breath work and you immediately change your nervous state. You go from that fight or flight, the sympathetic nervous state, to parasympathetic, which is our rest and digest. You can do that in 10 breaths. 10 breaths, you can entirely change your emotional, energetic, and physiological state. 10 breaths. It's such a great, great investment. I am a breathwork coach, and I always tell people that I teach it absolutely for free for people who will come here and hang out with me. Man, what a price. What a price you have to pay to be my friend. You have to show up every so often and participate in the conversation. But yeah, I'm happy to teach meditation for free, which is another game changer. Daily meditation. It sounds like a big investment. Daily meditation, daily breath work. That's the actual traditional path of yoga. Even before you hit any of the poses, those are the ones. Jace says, first off, hello, Jace. Good evening, Eric. I have my mother with me. I've been explaining about the unity we have. Awesome. Hello to Jace's mother. You, my friend, have a wonderful son. So yeah, Dredson, if you're ever interested in learning some meditation or doing some breath work, let me know. I'm happy to help. I don't know. Usually I do FaceTime. I don't know if you're on Facebook or not, but if you are, look me up, Eric McCarty, and I'm happy to teach you. Breathwork changes our central nervous system so that we naturally become responsive, like out of the course of action. Mir says, sir, Jace is now 410. Man, that's awesome. Our friend Mir is diving in. Jace is another one of those channels I've been talking about that has the potential just to be huge because of the positivity that's he puts out there. It's not, you can show up and hang out with Jace and get in shape, But if all you do is exercise, you are missing out on a huge section of what Jace is offering, because he is going to lift you up. I'm not singing Rick Roll. I'm not Rick rolling anyone. I'm not singing, uh, what's the song? Uh, gonna lift you up, never gonna let you down. Um, it's a channel where you go to feel good. Next is 500 for Jace. Awesome. So I was talking a bit about sleep hygiene. Some people like that expression, some don't. Jace said, Rick Astle, never going to give you up. That's the one I was thinking of. That's the one I was thinking of. So yeah, sticking with the schedule. Not saying don't give yourself 5 minutes here and there, although honestly, I don't suggest it. It doesn't make a difference. Because again, you're just creating extra stress. Now you got to make up all this time that you spent staying in bed. Yeah, it feels good for a little bit, but in the yogic tradition, there are two concepts. I'm probably going to get this wrong. Priya and Shira. I want to make sure that I get each one right. And these are two choices that we have. One is of, let me Google this up so I make sure. Here we go. That one is that easy choice of immediate gratification, that we eat fast food, that we eat something unhealthy, that we smoke a cigarette to relieve stress, that we sleep in even though we know it's going to affect our sleep the following night or later in the day, and that it's going to take a couple of days to get back on some type of schedule. It's causing suffering. But the easier choice is Priya, Preya, the easy choice that we make. Fast food because we're in a hurry. We don't want to spend that little extra time. Shira is the delayed gratification for something better, where we don't take that drink, we don't smoke that cigarette, we take our time and cook something healthy with a lot of gratitude and a lot of love offered to it. We're always given those choices throughout the day. That it feels good sometimes to get angry, to lash out at someone, although we suffer for it. This is why the Buddha said that you are not punished by your anger, you are punished for your anger. Maybe it's the other way around. You're not punished for your anger, you're punished by your anger. That the effects of anger on our blood pressure, on our mental health, on our heart health, on our cardiovascular health, all of that, that's the punishment. That's karma. Karma isn't the far off payback that someone else is going to give you. They come out of the blue and hit you with a club, and you say, well, that must have been my karmic punishment for getting angry 16 years ago. Karma doesn't work that way. Karma works that you get anger, you suffer the consequences of that anger by what's happening to your mental health and your body. Karma simply means action. Simple cause and effect. However, grace always transcends karma. And we can petition for grace. We can put ourselves in a position where grace happens to us. Forgiveness gives us grace. If you forgive yourself for anger, you're taking you out of the karmic timeline. So those are the two immediate gratification versus delayed gratification for a greater good. Priya and Shira. And what's that have to do with sleep hygiene? Sleeping in for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours is that easy sense of gratification. However, we pay the price for it with a harder time getting to sleep the next night, and it might take 2 or 3 days to get back, especially as you get older, guys, that sleep becomes delicate. So you need to be very tender towards yourself. You need to offer yourself a whole lot of care and proceed through the day. What would you do if, here's what I learned. One of the things I learned being a caregiver for my mother, caregiver for my father, tenderness. I had to be very tender. Here was what was really important with my mom suffering for Alzheimer's, the tenderness of my language. Not saying, I just told you. Don't you remember how many times do I have to tell you this? Because there's nothing but the present moment for someone with Alzheimer's. There isn't how many times you have to tell them. You have to tell them as many times as you gently and easily and kindly can. That's tenderness. And it breaks your heart to have to do it. But you do it because the heart's made to be broken, because that's how the light gets in. Mir says, Sir Yogi, if 3 or 4 people share your lives, it's having a big meeting, sir. Man, that would be great. I don't know if anyone actually does share my life. I think maybe Mayhem and Miracles has once or twice, maybe a few times. If it happens, it happens. If someone's called to do it, I hope they do. If they're not called to do it, that's fine too. I'm taking a laid-back approach with my ambitions. There was a line in the movie Gandhi when he was asked, a reporter said to him, Sir, you seem very ambitious, or you look very ambitious. And Gandhi replied, I certainly hope not. As he had pretty much let go of at least his personal ambitions. His ambitions were for his nation. I still have a bit of an ambition. Largely, though, I mentioned this earlier today, I feel like I'm in the process of letting go. What am I letting go of? Everything that I'm capable of letting go of. Recognizing attachments, letting them go. Letting go of attachments, letting them go. I do hope to earn an income from YouTube because my needs are so little that, man, if I made like 1,000 a month or so, which is feasible, I'm set. That would be the equivalent of someone else making 10,000 a month or something. Oh, you know what? MF Dreadson says, I share the link on the other channel where I'm a mod. You know what? I misspoke when I said I don't know if people do, because people have come in here mentioning you. And you know what? My bad. I should have earlier. I should have thanked you because I'm very, very grateful. Thank you for that. People have come in here and mentioned you. They've been completely awesome. Oh, it says he's back on his laptop. Nice. So yeah, I wrote on my blog, and I post my blog stuff on my page as well. Right now, it feels like my one goal is just living a life of continuous forgiveness. And as mentioned, the things that we forgive aren't other people, aren't events, aren't situations. We're forgiving the projections that we put out in the world. Course in Miracles aligns very nicely with the Buddhist and yogic concept of Maya, the illusory world. And we've created the world that we see by our perceptions. And our perceptions are based upon fear, that we are separate, small beings, that we are an ego, that we're a personality. Gary says, hey, 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 what's up? Mr. Eric, how you doing today? Looking more smart day by day. That's part of the illusion, my friend. MF Dresden says, glad to have found the community and grateful to participate. Man, you've been an awesome part of the community. And as I mentioned earlier this afternoon, I'm really happy seeing the content that you're putting out. Very inspiring. Rhea says, William, once again, welcome. I will be free. Both yoga, Buddhism, the Tao Te Ching, and of course miracles will offer the same thought on that, William, is that you are already free. You are already unconditional love. Now all we have to do is remove the blocks that keep us from the realization of that freedom. Man, above all else, I always wanted that sense of liberation, that sense of being liberated from my own mind, from my own opinion, my own belief that keeps me trapped in that suffering, most especially in a political season. This is why A Course in Miracles says, do not seek to change the world, seek to change your perception of the world. It also says, don't try to change your behavior, because you can't you can't fix your behavior. But you can change your thoughts on your behavior, and in doing so, the behavior changes by itself. How many people do you see set a goal, and they get 3 days into a 30-day plan, or they have a New Year's resolution, and they're done by, not even by February, or they go on a diet, only to cheat or only to break it. That's trying to change a problem at the level of the problem. We need to change a problem on the level of the mind. And we do that by recognizing that all of it is a projection. And we forgive the projection. When you forgive the projection, it ceases to be projected, or it lessens. So we keep forgiving and we keep forgiving. Here says, I went to 28 days, $100 for my bird feed brother. So what do we need to do to get you there? Let's see. Gary says, by the way, I had finally posted a few posts on my Instagram page. Did you see? I haven't, but I haven't been on Instagram for a couple of days, but I'll look for you. Where says, I just went away from my roommate, whom coincidentally, upon becoming my roommate, cleans nothing. If I don't like it, I get to deal with it or clean it myself. So live in filth or let him win and have clean things. What if he didn't think of it as winning or losing, as him winning and you having clean things? What would happen if he just cleaned it because you want something cleaned, but you didn't have the attachment to the idea of, why do I have to do this? Why doesn't he do this? Good questions, but we don't have an answer. We can't have an answer. So we take it away from him. We put it upon ourselves. I want something clean, so I clean it happily because I have the ability to clean and I like clean things. These are all the little psychological things that we do that keep us trapped in suffering. You know, we were talking about being free, liberation. When we think of what the roommate does, what the roommate doesn't do, that keeps us entrapped in whatever it is the roommate is doing or not doing. Now the roommate has power over us. or the illusion of power over us. So we forgive the situation. We just forgive the illusion that they have power over us. And we clean something when we want something clean. No big deal. But I understand what you're saying. I've been in similar situations. I have probably been that situation for someone. That's a game changer as well. Realizing that, you know what, we've all been something to someone. We've all been that little pain in the ass to someone at some point in our lives. Jerry says, do check it out, please. After a long time, I started my writing again. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely. I'm going to write that down in my little book of things I don't want to forget. Definitely want to support your writing. Hey, you know, you can post your writing on your community page here on YouTube as well. William says, and I have to live under him. I may as well struggle myself. William says, damn near 30 years old, paying fairly, and they want to be childish. That's why take them completely out of the equation. All of that is just a thought. Fair, unfair, just thoughts. When we want something clean, we clean it happily, gratefully that we have something, and we go about our business. It's a practice. It seems like a chore when we start and we have all these resentments. We have all these grievances. That's entrapment. Now we're trapped in that circular pattern, and it just goes on. It never ends. We find something else to hold a grievance against, something else to be resentful for. You could say, well, I'm justified because he doesn't clean things, and he's 30 years old, almost 30 years old. True, but also not true, because there's no justified resentments, because it makes us suffer. Let's see. Zariah? Did I say that right? Zara, I think. I want you, like a lawyer, mathematician, wants some kind of proof. That is an interesting statement. I had not thought in terms of lawyer and mathematicians wanting some kind of proof. Jay says, a connection between you and the roommate requires attention or cleaning. To the point. Jerry says, thank you so much, Eric. Yeah, definitely. I'll do that for sure. Definitely interested in reading your writing. Yeah, I post my what I write for my blog every morning on my community page. Laradox. Laradox says, hey. Laradox, my friend, how are you? It's the first link of the evening has been reserved for our friend Laradox. Laradox is at 5:30, so he's gained, I think, 14 since I last checked in. Laradox really wants subscribers. He wants to be a big YouTube star. He's a good guy. So if anyone would like to help him out. William says it requires boundaries that are incapable of being set. They demand I change to fit them, literally, or they make my home life unfortunate. It is a unfortunate situation, that's for sure. However, you and I have talked before about, wanting to be, having that emotional freedom. You're in the lab. You're in the laboratory right now. You're in the thick of it. If you can get it, you get it, and you'll have it for life. It's almost, William, you're in graduate school. You're in the graduate school of forgiveness. You did not pick an easy time. No leading up to it. No little forgiving here or little forgiving there. Now you are in the thick of it. You realize there are no justified resentments. No, not a single one. There are no justified resentments. And we can argue for them. But what about? We can have all the whatabouts in the world. But the bottom line, there's no justified resentments because resentments are our punishment. They have no effect on the other person. None. But they affect us. Who wants to be affected by that? Paradox says, I made a new short on my YouTube channel, Yogi. I'll be checking it out. What's the short about? Jay says, Jerry, I gave you both, and Zara gave you both a sub. Awesome. Paradox says, there's a lot of crabs where I am, and fish. Nice. Rob says, no, I'm almost 30. He's twice my age. I caught him on his game. I can guarantee you, hey, man, if he hasn't learned it by 60, William, I can guarantee you that none of that works. It just continues with the friction. But we all have to come to that conclusion on our own. Barb says, just popping in to say hugs and blessings to all. Hugs, one and all. Thank you, Barb. Hey, tomorrow, Barb is going into the hospital for surgery. So if everyone can, whatever form of prayer, whatever form of energy, whatever form of love, you guys can send out to Barb. All of it's appreciated. Prayer is a prayer, regardless of tradition. So if we could all send Barb some love tonight, tomorrow, through the upcoming weeks for her recovery. Love and prayers to you, my friend Barb. Paradox says, Yogi, the way I look at it is like certain things like Pride Month, for example, I don't support, but really I'm like live and let live. Understandable. You and I have talked about that before. I think in time you start seeing a different perspective when you realize, people have actually been killed, imprisoned, dehumanized, marginalized, simply for loving someone different than what someone else says they should love. So the month isn't saying, hey, it's not in celebration of being gay. It's saying that we are beyond the point of marginalizing anyone. The same with Black History Month, that we should be beyond the point of marginalizing anyone because of color, because of sexual orientation, because of anything. That at this point, we should all be celebrating our diversity, our uniqueness, what everyone has brought to the table of humanity. Rhea says, hey to Jerry. But I appreciate what you're saying, Laradux. Laradux says, I never agree with an atheist, but like live and let live. Understand. Rhea says, hey Barb, how are you? And William says, if I can find or be anything anywhere, then being here doesn't matter. Rather be somewhere where there is a glimpse of anything for myself. That's the thing, William. Everything is for yourself. Everything is for you. Everything is an opportunity to grow and expand in love, including the exact situation where you are right now. If you can learn to forgive and extend love here, man, you're gold. You've set the standard for life. Like I said, you've been given the graduate school course. You skipped high school. You skipped college. You went straight to graduate school. You got this huge, huge opportunity, and it doesn't feel anything like an opportunity that you want. However, it is what it is. If you can't change the situation, can you change how you perceive the situation? Change your thoughts on the situation and watch the situation change. Does that mean your roommate's magically going to start cleaning stuff? Probably not. Does that mean that you're going to see things a different way? And it simply isn't going to matter because you do what's necessary for you, not for them, for you. Then everything changes. Barb says, scared, time getting closer. I know, you're going in tomorrow morning. Just know, Barb, you're not going in alone. One, you got Wolf, you got your loving companion with you, and you got all of us. You got this entire community. Laradox says, and never any hate towards anyone. I know that about you, Laradox. I've seen it here with you. I've seen you interact with people that are the polar opposite of you. Look at Greg. Greg Dayton is generally an atheist, but you two get along great. He absolutely loves you. Laradox says, okay, Jerry, I would, but I don't have social media except YouTube. Jason says, up to Jerry. Awesome. Laradox says, Jerry, I subbed. Please return the favor if you want. Jason very kindly drops a link for our friend Laradox and for Mir. Thank you. Jace says, best wishes, Barbs. We're waiting for your return. Thank you, Jace. Laradox says, I actually did get over a mild case of cancer a few months back. Wow. Says it wasn't that serious. Yeah, I had skin cancer removed on the back of my neck 2 years ago. Let's see. Jerry says, now here's the problem. Not for me. I don't know much about YouTube, but I'll find out. And so be all. Awesome. I'm learning myself. I am far from an expert on YouTube. Laradox says, I called it the Big C. I remember you mentioning that a while back. Mir says, best wishes and prayers for your good health, dear Barb. Thank you, Mir. Laradox says, I actually missed the last stream. Man, we don't see much of you, Laradox. Laradox says, Yogi, can you pray for all of us to Jesus on the stream, even though you don't support the religion? Please do. Well, feel free to do so, Laradox. You have that closer connection. My prayers are out in a universal sense. Jesus, Krishna, Shiva. I pray to all of them. I pray to the great Tao. I'm also not much on public prayer. That to me, it's more meaningful. Eyes closed, heartfelt. Jesus said, pray, don't pray in public, pray behind closed doors. Don't let other people know you're even praying. William says, feel like I'm being guilted into suffering here and don't understand why. When is leaving acceptable? Then am I forever trapped here? William, you're never trapped. You can instantly change your perception of any event and be free. You can be free exactly where you are. Think of the people who have found freedom in prison. Think of Nelson Mandela, who emerged from an actual prison with a heart full of love and gratitude. You can be free exactly where you are. You're never trapped, except for the trap of your own making. Your thoughts are trapping you in the feeling that you can't do what you want to do there. I'm not telling you to stay there, or I'm not also not telling you not to set boundaries. I'm not telling you one thing or the other than you can be free exactly where you are. This is your big test. It's a wonderful opportunity for you. And another thing I'll say, I think you are 100% up for it. 100%. Remember the other day I was talking about changing our demands into preferences and how easier it is to have a preference than it is a demand? You can demand all you want with your roommate. He's not going to change. If you put it up to a preference, I would prefer he would change. It's a little easier to deal with. Jace says, one of my recent thoughts that I now hold tight is there is no I in us. That's unity. Exactly. The great, great sage Ramana Maharshi, said when he was asked by a follower, how do you treat others? And he just smiled and said, there are no others. There are no others. William says, God telling Jesus he's going to die on the cross. Depends on how you look at it. What if God didn't tell Jesus he was going to die on the cross? What if Jesus demonstrated that he couldn't die on the cross? That persecution didn't kill him? And that he demonstrated that for all of us? In A Course in Miracles, it says that the only lesson of the cross is that we can all survive our own crucifixion. We can all survive our own crucifixion. And how did Jesus survive? He forgave. And what he forgave wasn't the fact that he was being crucified. He didn't forgive the fact that he was being tortured. He looked at those who were doing the torturing and he saw their innocence. And he said, forgive them, Father. They know not what they do. That's the nature of true forgiveness. You look past the event. You look past the action. And you see the innocence of the situation. William says, me knowing my fate regardless. Your fate can change in an instant. You can set yourself free. Theradak says, William, are you religious? Thera says, I won. Holy shit. What'd you win? I'm glad you won. Congratulations. What'd you win? How'd you win it? Let's see. I just subscribed to you. Paradox. Zara, please sub to me. I just sub to you. Apples. Hey, Aaron McCarty. Hope you're doing good today. Apples, how are you? I am doing good today. I've enjoyed, both live streams. All 3 live streams today. Really nice opportunity to talk about all the things I love to talk about with all the people I love to talk with. Sarah says it's been a long journey. Yeah, sometimes it is, isn't it? No, that says it was a bit of skin cancer removed from, my left shoulder. You and I have that in common, my friend. Mine was on the, I don't even remember. I think it was on the left side of my neck. I got to go back to my dermatologist once a year to get checked over. I'm glad you're okay there, Dex. Let's see. It's going to take me a second to get caught up here, guys. Sarah says, okay, Larry, I will. Jerry says, laughing emoji. We're all at the same place, even when age gap between us. Yeah, we're at the same place. Sarah says, I support people that support Jesus. Nice. That's Laradox. He supports Jesus. Laradox says, lately I haven't been in the streams, Yogi, but from now on, I'll try to be here more, to be on more lately. Hey, you know what? Whenever you can, I always appreciate you stopping in and saying hi. Man, you're young, you got a busy life. There's no pressure here. Roram says, accept it, don't accept it. It happens either way. If whether I'm here or there, it continues to happen. If there is a choice, what is the point? Why does it have to be a point? What if there isn't a point? What if we just have to be? That's it. We just have to be. Now everything's wide open. That means everything that we do has the purpose and the meaning that we give it, no one else. Sarah says, I don't pray, but I will give thanks when they help me. We could say that saying thanks, giving thanks, is a form of prayer. I'm not talking petitionary prayer. God, give me this, and I promise to do this. That's petitionary. But some might say, in Hawaiian shamanism, they would say that every thought is a prayer. Every thought is an energetic structure going out into the universe and interacting, bringing something into fruition. Barb says, I am already in the hospital. Surgery will be between 8 to 10 in the morning. This would be in Louisiana time. So, for those who don't pray, if you can just send out a gratefulness, a knowingness that our friend Barb is in loving and capable hands of a surgeon, and that her recovery is going to be cared for, and that she is going to be okay. She's going to be 100% healed, cancer-free. Paradox says, Yogi, yes, same. I go in my room and shut the door. All I do is pray. Rowan says, all I do is pray. But are you praying for something? There says, I'm not going to ask them for anything. I'm lucky to even have them in my life at all. That's gratefulness. Good for you, Zara. Rowan says, but I have the freedom to leave. Why can't I find freedom where I want to? Because maybe you are wanting it in the wrong spot. If you leave, you're not going to be any more free than where you are now. You're going to have the illusion of being free, but someone else will come along, a new roommate, another situation. Someone else is going to push those same buttons, maybe in a different way, but it's going to be the same buttons, and you're back to where you are now. How about you use this opportunity to get rid of those buttons, and now you're free for the rest of your life, forever. You're buttonless. No one will find anything to press. You're 29 years old. If you got that now, you would save yourself 30 years of misery. That's the difference between you and me. 30 years. Apple says, what's with the last few streams? Everyone wanted to talk about religion. Yeah, it comes and goes, I think. We were talking about, at first we were talking about sleep hygiene, getting sleep. And then earlier this afternoon, we were talking quite a bit about diet, specifically the yogic diet. But other forms of diet, nutrition, I should say. When we think diet, we think we're going to do something. Sarah says, so giving thanks is the least I can do. I would never pray wish for something that I'm not destined to acquire. Interesting. There's a form of, again, back to Hawaiian shamanism, there's a form of making a wish, very potent. But the key is to know that it's impossible to wish for something that we aren't destined to acquire. Paradox says, apples, please sub to me. Sarah says, I trust them, I have faith. Nice. Jace is dropping the links for Laradox. Anyone can change. This is true. Usually a life-changing event must occur. I don't know. I would say usually it does, but I don't think it must. Truly soul-shaking kind of events. We don't summon spirits, they summon us. Interesting. I believe Jesus summoned Mary once he passed on, if he did exist. Barb says, sorry, slow reply. I am on my phone. I just have no energy, very weak. Understandable, Barb. Don't worry about replying. Just be at rest. There says, that would be 100% logical, and I can see how people can misrepresent the words of resurrection. Your physical body can be dead, but your spirit can be resurrected and revealed to the living, especially if the destiny of the soulmates. She has seen him because the love they had for each other ascended through time and space past the physical body. So the bond becomes stronger once he died on the physical plane. It was divine and it showed the truth of God. Nice, sir. Rob says, I believe I am Laradox. Sarah says that I repeat I respect. Jace drops the link for Jason. Awesome. Jace, absolutely awesome. Dropping a link for our brother Jacob, who is not here right now. No one works harder for other people than Jacob. No one works harder, period, than Jacob. As Jace says, if you're not subbed to this amazing guy, you must check him out. No one reps out like Jacob. Sarah says, I don't know where those thoughts came from, but I love that they did. Sometimes we're just inspired, you know? Sarah says, I don't know if it's true or not. Doesn't even matter if it's true or not. The fact that you were inspired to speak them, and that maybe someone is going to be inspired by hearing them, that's what counts. Apple says, I'm doing good, McCarty. Just trying to wrangle control over my life, or do what I can to improve myself, like going to bed earlier and eating healthier. That's the way to do it. Going to bed earlier. Always happy to help with that in any way that I can, answering any questions. Sarah says, it just came to me, but it's up to opinion. I don't actually know the truth. No one does. We have our opinions and our beliefs. That doesn't make them true. Just means that we have invested quite a bit in our opinions and our belief. To simply hold on to the uncertainty of it all, resting in mystery, that's what counts. That's what matters. There it says, have a blessed day, y'all. Bye. Take care. I appreciate you spending some time with us. Where it says, what about when the lease is up, etc.? I've already paid my half. Do I keep trying to stay with them? That's a good question, William. I don't have an answer for you. See, the more you do your inner work, the more you practice forgiveness, the more you meditate, the more you do your breath work, the more you will be guided to make the best decision possible for you. You might get to the point when your lease is up and you say, now it's time to move on. And you do so happily. Remember, you're not trapped. And by not being trapped means that you are not trapped by staying where you are, but you're also not trapped by leaving. But what you want to do is not leave because someone is forcing you away. You want to leave because now you're inspired to move on to something else. Do you see the difference? So if you can learn right now, today, tomorrow, this week, to be at peace where you are, then you will be at peace wherever you travel to. So if you're called to live somewhere else, if our friend who might have a possible job for you says, hey, come on out and help me out with my growing. Now you can go. But what happens if you went out there and you found that he pushed your buttons too? Now you're in the same situation, but worse, because he's got your paycheck. So for the time that you are there, you just work on that forgiveness. You meditate. You find yourself at peace. Get out in nature. You do your breath work. Do your breath work in nature. So now when it's time for you to go, you go with a free and open and loving heart. You're not leaving anything behind. You are embracing what's coming, whatever that might be. Now you're absolutely free. William says, I would love to believe that, but there will always be people that attempt to impose their will upon others. 100%. No escaping that. However, you can be someone who never has anyone's will imposed upon them. You can be free. You can be free right now. The truth is, you already are. We just have to remove the obstacles. There's always going to be people like that. You want people to be like that because they serve as a great reminder. Keep your practice. Carlos Castaneda called them petty tyrants, and he said if you don't have one, go out and get one because they are your greatest teachers. If you learn to be at peace with those people, imagine how peaceful you're going to be in a loving relationship. Jerry says, amen, peace. I prayed for your recovery. Nice. I'm taking my little herbal sleep tablet. I'm actually going to shut things down in just a bit. And the Master Sergeant, retired, Mocha, is here. Mocha says hi. What's up, Mocha? Boy says yes, answers, guidance, understanding, more skills to deal with the troubles I struggle with. You never have to struggle for guidance. You just need to be still. You just need to be quiet. Barb says hi to Mocha. William says hello, Mocha. And believe it or not, William, the conversation that we're having is really your own voice giving you your answers. You're sounding things out here. That's perfect. Apple says, I got to run. No, have a good rest of your day, McCarty. I'll pop in again sometime, friend. Always appreciate it when you do. Thank you. Rowan says, take care. Apple says, oops, sorry. Well, I got put in more effort and still, William. My current battle is trying to get about minor medical issues looked at. Good luck with that, Apples. Sending prayers out to you, my friend. This is sleep time for me now. I look forward to our next meeting. May you all be healthy. I'm going to see you in the morning for the Jace inspirational speech. Every morning, guys, look for his live stream. Make sure that you are subbed. Make sure that you're subbed to get all notifications. Apple says I work out every day, but I eat terribly, and I'm not on a good sleep schedule. Gotta keep putting in that work. Hey, at least you got the workout part in, so that's a big step. Apple says, see you, Jace. Barb says, I have had skin melanoma twice. They took scrappings today on my back to check it out. We must always forgive ourselves to move forward. We must nurture our inner child to become who we are to be, understanding and community. Community. It is a challenge. Nicely said. Beautifully said, Barb. So, guys, I'm going to wrap it up for the night. I got a few things left to do. I'm going to try to get to bed a little earlier than I have been lately. It's still early, but I can always deal with a little bit more. Again, big prayers, to our friend Barb, as well as sending prayers out to our friend Bumblebee T, still in the hospital, and Selina, who was a caregiver for her sister Dana, still going through a hard time, from my understanding, or at least I haven't been told otherwise. So until then, we just keep sending out prayers. Appreciate everyone being here. Appreciate the conversation. William, we'll just keep talking about it. We'll just keep opening and seeing what comes up. Just know that you are surrounded by friends who care about you, that I'm here with you. You can reach out anytime. You know you can reach out to me here. You know you can reach out to me on Facebook. It's not easy. Everything that I said, all possible, all doable, all achievable, but not easy, because it means letting go of who we think we are, letting go of all the things that keep us bound to the ego. The ego wants you to be bound to it. You are its identity. Without that, it doesn't serve a purpose. So I think you can do it, though. I think this is your great opportunity for William Hart to be free. And then you have that forever. Everyone says, have a good night, Yogi, in chat. William, you have a good night too, my friend. I will see everyone later. Take care. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me.